They will tell you that success is about luck. They will whisper that wealth belongs only to the chosen. They will insist that the climb is too steep, but the truth has never been in their hands. It's in your mind, the distance between poverty and power, between struggle and triumph, between obscurity and legacy. It begins in thought, not in money, not in connections, not in timing. Thought. Every empire was born in the invisible furnace of the mind before it rose in stone and steel. Every fortune began as a single idea, held with such intensity it bent the laws of circumstance. And if you study those who've truly risen, the Lincolns, the Fords, the Edisons, the Disneys, you'll see it wasn't chance that crowned them. It was mental discipline forged like iron in fire. Because the millionaire mind isn't a brain full of numbers. It's a spirit sharpened to dominate the chows of the world. It sees differently. It believes obsessively. It commands reality rather than waiting for it to comply. You don't train your mind like the rest of the world. You train it like a soldier trains for war. You train it like your future depends on it. Because it does. You see, the average mind flinches. At resistance, it folds. At criticism, it crumbles. At the first sign of failure, it retreats. But the mind of the millionaire, no, the mind of the creator, the leader, the visionary, it doesn't blink. It adjusts, it adapts, it advances. And that kind of mind, it's not born, it's built. So let's begin at the forge. Let's burn off the lies you've been told since birth. Let's awaken the fire that lives just beneath your fear. Because here's the first law of transformation. What you think consistently, you become inevitably. You cannot think weakness and act powerfully. You cannot dwell in doubt and expect to walk in faith. You cannot feast on distraction and build an empire with focus. The millionaires, the real ones, not the counterfeit Instagram kind, but the builders, the inventors, the founders of dynasties. They train their minds to filter the noise, to isolate the signal, and to focus relentlessly on what matters. So the first question is things. What are you feeding your mind? Is it junk food, gossip, fear, escapism, comparison? Or is it fuel, knowledge, strategy, vision, truth? Your mind is soil. If you plant weeds, don't be shocked when your life is overrun with thorns. But if you plant fire, clarity, belief, vision, then you will grow something the world cannot ignore. And belief, that's the next gate. Every millionaire, every titan of thought, had to believe before there was evidence. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." He wasn't speaking in riddles. He was issuing a command. Belief is not wishful thinking. Belief is a decision, made so fully, so deeply, so permanently, that it alters your chemistry. It changes how you speak. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how the world sees you. You don't wait for proof. You become the proof. They laughed at Edison when he said he'd light the world without flame. They mocked Carnegie for dreaming of steel cities when iron still ruled the rails. They doubted Disney, called him a lunatic for dreaming in cartoons. But belief doesn't require applause. It requires endurance. And belief is not enough unless it's directed. A mind with belief but no vision is like fire with no purpose. It burns, but it doesn't build. You must direct it, sharpen it, with clarity. That means asking hard questions. Where am I going? What am I building? What will I stand for when the storms hit and everything around me shakes? Most people avoid these questions because they're afraid of what they'll find. But the millionaire mind confronts the void. It stares down the unknown, and it answers with intention. It writes the future before anyone else can write it for them. You don't drift into greatness. You decide. You commit. You carve the path. Vision is not about seeing the future. It's about demanding it. It's about closing your eyes and seeing it so vividly that your body begins to move toward it, even before your world has caught up. And with vision comes purpose. Purpose is not just a mission statement on a wall. It's the fuel that keeps you standing when your legs shake. It's the fire that keeps you moving when no one claps, when the money hasn't arrived, when the nights are long and your name is still unknown. Purpose makes suffering sacred. Purpose turns pain into fuel. Purpose separates those who try from those who transcend. Do you know why most quit? It's not because they lack talent. It's because they lack purpose deep enough to keep going when the applause stops. Millionaires, true ones, aren't powered by money. They're powered by obsession, by mission, by something burning in them that cannot be bought, silenced, or sold. And from purpose flows discipline. The unglamorous, relentless, daily rituals that nobody sees. The early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the refusal to be ordinary. Because here's the hard truth: success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. Discipline is showing up when the world gives you every excuse to lay down. It's pushing forward when your emotions beg you to quit. It's telling your body, your fear, your doubty, I am not negotiating with weakness. Lincoln woke before dawn to read by firelight. Jobs built through brutal rejection until the world bent to his vision. Every icon you admire was once unknown, unproven, unseen, but disciplined. They trained their minds like warriors. They trained them to execute, not to entertain comfort. Because the mind, like a muscle, grows through strain, not ease, not luxury, but pressure. Pressure is not your enemy. It is the anvil where resilience is hammered into the steel of your character. And that's where we go next. To action, not ideas, not inspiration, not potential, but real, raw, ruthless action. Because potential without execution is just a graveyard of dreams. You were not born to collect potential. You were born to release it. And action is the release valve of destiny. You will not think your way to success in the shadows. You will move your way there. Step by step, risk by risk, strike by strike. Every day you wait, every idea you delay, every hesitation you entertain, costs you time, momentum, and opportunity. Millionaire minds are not addicted to perfection. They are addicted to movement. While others are paralyzed by doubt, they execute. While others debate, they decide. While others plan endlessly, they strike. Because inaction is a slow death. It is a silent killer of dreams. And the mind, when untrained, always chooses comfort over courage. But your mind must be conditioned for courage on command. You take the shot. You make the call. You write the words, speak the truth, build the thing. Even when it's ugly, even when it's unfinished, even when the world might laugh. That's how you separate yourself. You show up so consistently, so ruthlessly, so obsessively, that the world has no choice but to notice. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You need more fire in your gut and discipline in your actions. Because every seed of greatness planted in you must be watered with action, daily, repeatedly, without apology. And in the midst of that daily grind, you must not forget the most paradoxical truth of them all. Gratitude is the amplifier of power. Gratitude is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is not soft. Gratitude is a form of mental clarity that keeps your soul aligned with your vision. It's how you remind yourself, even in the storm, that you are not broken. You are becoming. It's how you remind the universe that you are ready to receive more. Not because you're desperate, but because you've mastered contentment without complacency. Andrew Carnegie once said, "No man becomes rich unless he enriches others." He understood the law: what you appreciate appreciates. What you give returns multiplied. A millionaire mind lives in two worlds at once. Ferociously hungry for the future, yet deeply grateful for the present. Because when you operate from gratitude, your energy is clean. Your motives are clear. Your focus is unwavering. And your presence becomes magnetic. People want to follow someone who isn't bitter, afraid, or entitled. They want to follow someone who sees abundance, who radiates it, who breathes it, who creates it. Gratitude doesn't mean you settle. It means you grow from a place of power, not poverty. But gratitude alone won't carry you through the chaos, because life will test you. It will break you open to see what you're really made of. And when that happens, you need more than mindset. You need adaptability. You must become water, unbreakable but fluid, directed but flexible, persistent but wise enough to pivot. The millionaire mind doesn't collapse when the plan fails. It adapts. It re-strategizes. It moves with life, not against it, because change is not the enemy. Rigidity is. The world belongs to those who evolve, to those who are humble enough to adjust and bold enough to keep going. Blockages are not signs to quit. They are invitations to innovate. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. He failed over 1,000 times. But he didn't see failure. He saw feedback. He didn't see endings. He saw edits. And that's the secret the world won't tell you. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who fail forward, faster, and more often than anyone else. But to do that, you must harden your resilience. Not the kind that pretends things are fine when they're not, but the kind that feels pain and still moves, the kind that faces defeat and still fights, the kind that knows how to bend without breaking. Resilience is the backbone of the millionaire mind. It's how you endure when the excitement fades. It's how you keep walking when the results lag behind your effort. It's how you choose to see setbacks as setups, not signals to stop. The world will try to define you by your failures. Don't let it. You define yourself by your recovery. A millionaire's wealth is not in the bank. It's in the fortitude of their character. And that character is sharpened in silence. When no one is watching, when you're grinding in obscurity, when you're doubted, when your name is still unknown, when all you have is a vision, a whisper of purpose, and a mind that refuses to break. That's when greatness is decided, not when you win, but when you refuse to quit. And in every phase of that journey, you remain a learner, you remain teachable, you remain curious, you remain a student of mastery. Because the minute you believe you know it all, you have already begun to fall. Carnegie surrounded himself with thinkers. Ford listened before he led. Lincoln read constantly, even in the White House, because he knew that leadership is not about pride, but perspective. Learning is the currency of reinvention, and the world will always reward those who stay hungry for wisdom. You train your mind through books, mentors, mistakes, through reflection, correction, and unrelenting self-awareness, not to prove you're right, but to become what you are meant to be. And if you train your mind this way, if you discipline it like a warrior, guide it like a general, and protect it like a fortress, you will move differently through the world. You won't chase, you'll attract. You won't doubt, you'll decide. You won't crumble, you'll rise. Because wealth isn't just money. It's the power to command your thoughts, to shape your world, and to leave a legacy so bold, the world cannot ignore you. And that is the destiny of those who train their minds like millionaires.